This is not a slowdown. This is not consolidation. This is not a temporary correction. This is extinction. In the past 18 months, more than 2,000 UK letting agencies have shut their doors. Not merged, not rebranded, closed. And it is happening quietly. No emergency press conferences, no government briefings, no headlines screaming crisis. Just handwritten signs in shop windows. Just websites going dark. Just phones that no longer get answered. In London alone, entire high streets have lost their letting agents almost overnight. Some disappeared between rent cycles, others vanished between inspections. One week the lights were on, the next week gone.
If you want real, unfiltered analysis of what is actually happening in the UK property market beyond estate agent optimism and political spin, subscribe to UK Property Report.
And here is the part that should make this impossible. Rents are at record highs. London rents have surged to historic levels. Demand is relentless. Viewings are crowded. Tenants are bidding against each other. So why are the companies that sit in the middle of this money flow collapsing? Why are the firms that manage Britain's most valuable rental stock failing at the exact moment rents are exploding? To understand this, you have to abandon the surface-level explanation. This is not about bad management. This is not about weak demand. This is not about tenants paying less. This is about a structural collapse that began years ago and is now reaching its final phase. And the numbers tell the story. In early 2024, one of the UK's largest online letting platforms made a quiet admission. Over 30% of its landlord clients had exited the market in just 2 years. Not reduced portfolios, not paused expansion. Exited. That figure alone should have triggered alarm bells across the entire housing sector, because letting agencies do not sell houses, they sell continuity. Their business model depends on recurring management fees, month after month, property after property.
When landlords leave, income does not dip, it disappears. At the same time landlords were vanishing, agency profitability collapsed. The average independent London letting agency saw profit margins fall below 4%. 4%. That is not a margin, that is a rounding error. Most UK small businesses need at least 10 to 15% operating margin to absorb shocks, errors or delays. Below 5%, one unexpected fine, one delayed payment, one compliance mistake can wipe out an entire year of profit. And in lettings, mistakes are no longer cheap. Here is the contradiction at the heart of the crisis. Rents are at record highs, landlords are leaving in droves, letting agents are collapsing. These three things should not coexist, but they do, and that tells us something crucial. This is not a demand problem, it is not a tenant problem, it is a cost, regulation and risk problem that has turned the entire letting industry into an unsustainable business model. The collapse did not begin with interest rates, it did not begin with inflation, it began with regulation. In 2019, the Tenant Fees Act fundamentally rewrote the economics of lettings almost overnight. Tenant-paid fees that had quietly underpinned agency margins for decades were abolished. Referencing fees, renewal fees, check-in fees, administrative charges, gone. The policy was popular. Tenants paid less up front, but nothing replaced that income. The assumption from policymakers was that agents would absorb the cost. The assumption from landlords was that agents would reduce fees. The assumption from agents was that landlords would accept higher management percentages. None of these assumptions held. Landlords, already under tax pressure, resisted. Competition between agents pushed prices downward. Absorbing the cost meant operating with thinner and thinner margins. At the same time, compliance obligations exploded. Right to rent checks,
Deposit protection rules, licensing schemes by borough, EPC requirements, anti-money laundering rules. Each rule required training documentation and legal oversight. Mistakes became liabilities, fines increased, enforcement became more aggressive. By 2023, running a compliant London letting agency required legal awareness rivaling small law firms, data protection audits, regulatory updates, compliance software, fixed costs that did not scale down. For large chains, survivable. For small agencies, suffocating. Many automated, others cut staff. Errors increased. Some sold at distressed valuations. Most ran out of cash. Regulation did not destroy letting agencies overnight. It weakened them. Then interest rates finished the job. At first, landlords raised rents. Demand absorbed it. By mid-2023, the numbers broke. Buy-to-let rates moved from around 2% to over 6%. Monthly payments doubled. Tax relief remained capped. Maintenance costs rose. Insurance premiums climbed. Rental income barely broke even. For many landlords, the decision was mathematical: sell or subsidize. They sold. Not one property at a time. Portfolios exited in waves. Agencies lost 20 to 40% of managed stock in a single year. This was fatal. No properties meant no fees. No fees meant no business. The landlords were not replaced. New entrants did not arrive. Stamp duty was punitive. Yields were low. Regulation was hostile. Properties went to owner-occupiers or corporate operators. Corporate operators manage internally. They do not use high street agents. Every development removed hundreds of clients at once. The world of accidental landlords disappeared. Agencies were left serving a shrinking middle. Technology stripped control from agents. Listings moved online. Viewings automated. Contracts generated. Liability remained. Agents carried risk without power. Landlords saw costs. Tenants saw obstacles. Politicians saw intermediaries. With no loyalty, shutdowns accelerated. London was hit first. Not by accident, London combines high costs, high regulation, and fast landlord exits. Office rents are brutal, staff costs are high, insurance is expensive. Borough by borough rules multiply risk, mistakes become inevitable. London landlords exited faster. Gains were larger, mortgage shocks were sharper, properties left the rental pool permanently. Corporate buyers removed agencies completely. Agencies grew during booms. Scale became a trap. Fixed costs remained. Downsizing failed. Every survival move weakened the business. Closure became rational. Entire neighbourhoods lost agencies. Choice shrank. Competition weakened. Fees rose quietly. Service slipped. The market became fragile. Technology hollowed the middle. Liability did not disappear. Agents were interchangeable, but risk was not. New agencies did not open. The barriers were too high. Once an agency disappears, it rarely returns. Local knowledge is lost. Relationships vanish. The rental market continues, but different, more centralised, more impersonal, more brittle. This is not a cycle. It will not reverse. Landlords will not return. Agencies will not reopen. The structure has shifted. What looks like efficiency today will feel like scarcity tomorrow. Scarcity of mediation, scarcity of accountability, scarcity of human judgment. This is why UK letting agents are shutting down, not because the market collapsed, but because it moved on and left them behind.